Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are doing a video about my Kobo, pros and cons, and why I think you should get a Kobo instead of a Kindle, okay? That will happen at the end. The pros and cons part is mainly a pro and con about e-readers in general and why I think that everyone should have an e-reader, or people should go more toward e-readers. I don't think that physical books and bookstores will necessarily fizz out to the way that everyone is saying they are. I think that they will fizz out because of Amazon, not because of ebooks. And taking away ebooks is taking away accessibility. It's just like taking away audiobooks. It's taking away accessibility. So, here we go. I have got the points written on a sheet of paper. Let's get to it. So, oh shoot, I forgot an introduction. My name is Mila, you're at Alexandrian Archives, and as I said before, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of having an e-reader and why you should go for a Kobo instead of a Kindle. For the intro. So, we're gonna do, what are we gonna do? Do we do cons first and then pros first, and then pros, and then you know what? We're gonna do pros first. We're gonna start with a positive. First pro is a lot of these e-readers are small and they're compact, and they also come in different sizes, but they're still very lightweight and they're still compact, and it's a difference between, carrying a small thing that's yay big and carrying around a 500-page book everywhere. So there's that difference, right? So take that as you will. They're small and compact, and they can fit in your pocket, in your jacket pocket, they can fit in your pants pocket. The second one is you can easily get books for free. You can get physical books for free, obviously, but a lot of the times nowadays I find that libraries are turning more towards ebooks than they are towards physical, which I understand could be annoying for some that are so used to reading physical books and despise even the notion of ebooks, but you can get them for free from the library. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I can't say the other word because then I'll be yelled at. So just know that there are ways of getting books for free, just like there are ways of watching movies for free without having to stream them. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm going to say. That's it. That's all. The next point is battery life is amazing. And yes, I know it's not, books don't run out of battery life ever. Physical ones don't run out of battery life ever. But the battery life on an e-reader is usually really, really good because e-ink displays take up less battery and they usually have a bigger battery. And if you're not connected to the internet, it's not going to eat up anything. It's not constantly syncing. It's not constantly updating. So if you disconnect the internet, you're going to prolong the battery life of your e-reader anyways. So yes. The next point is read in the sunlight and the dark. Okay, so reading in the sunlight is you can lower the brightness, obviously, and it won't glare at you. It's glare free because it's e-ink technology. Reading in dark, you don't have to find and charge and buy an overhead light, and it's a backlight, and you can have night mode as well. I know some e-readers do like dark mode, and a lot of the e-readers now have the backlight and they have comfort, like the orangey light. It's called different things on different devices. Like my phone calls it eye comfort, my computer calls it night light or whatever. Anyway, so it's just the orange tint that will help you sort of fall asleep faster so it doesn't emit a blue light. The next one is For me personally, I somehow read faster on my Kobo. I have read one book in physical format, and the rest I have read in ebook format, and that's 18 out of 19 books that I've read in ebook format and one book that I've read in physical format. Take that as you will. The next point is e-ink versus pixel screens. Pixelated screens are not good for your eyes. E-ink screens, however, mimic the effect that a page has. So realistically, you're not really going to see the difference. It's just that it's implanted in your head that physical books are better for your eyes, and it's like, ooh, it's the feel of a physical book that's, it's gonna be taken away. Take that out of your mind for a second, because that's just a seed planted by the book community, and we've been having constant debates about this. Take that out of your mind for a second and really look long and hard at this. Are you really, are you catering to the masses? Are you following the crowd? Or I understand some people do have problems with e-ink devices. I totally get it. I totally do. But for the majority of us, are you really just following the crowd and believing that physical books are better than ebooks? Taking away ebooks is going to take away accessibility. The next point is most e-readers are cheaper than a tablet. They are cheaper than a phone. They are cheaper than a computer. They're cheaper than literally any other electronical device that you can use to read a book. They are almost always cheaper. Unless you get the fancy waterproof ones with the buttons. Those are obviously going to be more expensive. But a basic 6-inch screen e-reader is not going to be that expensive. It's going to be fairly cheap. The next point I have, and this is my last pro, is in most countries, maybe except Canada, because the book prices are ridiculous here, and I'll talk about that in the cons. In most countries, ebooks are cheaper than the physical ones. Some ebooks are constantly going on sale. There's $2.99, $3.99, $1.99, 99 cents. So ebooks are a lot of the time cheaper than physical books. Here are the cons, however. I understand that physical books are seemingly a necessity to call yourself not only a reader, but a bookstagrammer, booktuber, book talker, book whatever, because people are doing hauls left and right, and you're I have to catch up. You do not have to catch up. You do not have to catch up. That being said, there are advantages to physical books versus ebooks. As I said before, people do have trouble with e-ink e-readers, and that's just how it is, and they do prefer physical books, and you can't really change that because that's the way their body works, and you can't change the way someone's body works just to cater to your views. So yes, sometimes physical books, it is easier. Sometimes it's easier to read when you're holding it. Sometimes people do read faster when it's physical. So that's a con. And people, they don't really say this about ebooks as much as they do about audiobooks, but some people don't think that audiobooks count as reading. And I feel like we're bordering on the territory that people don't think that ebooks count as reading. So, because you don't physically own the book, so obviously it's not there. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. Anyways, my next point is you can't collect them. You can't display them on the shelves. Which I understand. But are you really going to waste $20 on a book that you could have bought for $3? And then what if you don't like the book that you bought for $20? And you could have saved money, and then you could have just deleted it from your Kobo and that's it. From your e-reader and that's it. And it's gone. You don't have to stare at it being why did I spend $20 on this? and I didn't like it, and it's like, and nobody wants the book. Does that make sense? This is speaking from like personal experience, but I have a counterpoint to that actually, which I'll get to in a minute. The third con is waiting times at the library can sometimes be longer than waiting times for the physical book. Which is true because publishers charge an important amount of money for libraries to have 1 to 2 ebook copies of the book. And when it's a popular book, you have longer waiting times and blah, blah, blah. Right? So it's just difficult to justify it. And sometimes you have to like request the book to be bought, and that takes ages as well. So the next point I have it's another device to charge and another charger to keep track of. However, this is relevant to me because my Kobo is one of the older ones, so it still uses a USB-A charger. So I do have to carry an extra charger on, but this is a counterpoint. This is not the counterpoint I was referring to, but this is another counterpoint. Most e-readers, if not all of them, that have come out in the past year or so or coming out soon are all USB chargers. So you literally just have to carry around one charger for like your phone, and you can use that same charger for your Kindle or your Kobo or whatever e-reader you decide to buy. Yeah, the only reason is because I have an older Kobo. It's not even that old, to be honest, but it does use a different charger. So, but now everything's more standard, so you don't have to carry around several chargers. It's just me that does. But, as I said, battery life lasts incredibly long with the Kobos. So, you're not gonna if you charge it the night before you're going out or whatever, you're not gonna really need the charger. Okay? So some formats are easier to read as a physical copy, and they're also more pleasant to read as a physical copy. For example, graphic novels, comic books, I guess more academic texts. For example, I'll give you an example. If you take my copy of my version of the Landmark Herodotus, it has maps and pictures as well as footnotes and like notes in the margins and stuff. So this one is definitely more pleasant to read as a physical copy than it is as an ebook, because the ebook format is a little bit weird, and I say that from experience because I did start reading this as an ebook before I requested it for Christmas. So yeah, it's just some formats are more pleasant to read as a physical copy, and that's not the end of the world, right? But with that being said, oh my god, can I get this in? With that being said, a lot of e-readers that are being developed are actually also being developed to cater to these preferred formats, such as comic books and graphics. There are colored e-readers that are being developed or have been developed, but that's another point, so I will get to that in a minute. The next point is literally the next point. Color e-readers do exist. They do exist. But they're pricier, and it's a bit more difficult to get them because they are not sold in stores. I know like Books, like BOOX, like that company has color e-readers, and it's difficult to buy one of those in Canada because they don't have like a supplier in Canada. They have one in the US, and the shipping is ridiculous. I don't even want to talk about the shipping. I don't even want to talk about the price, because that USD to Canada price, that is, it's almost double. Anyways, so unless you live in like the US, and in the case of books in like Hong Kong or something, it's difficult to get them, and the price is a lot out of reach for a lot of people. So Yes. The next one is PDFs, I find on Kobos, are not the easiest to read, and a lot of publishers are sending e-arcs as PDFs, and it drives me up the wall. Publishers, please either make all of them EPUBs or give us the opportunity to convert it into an EPUB, because it is so difficult to read a PDF because you have to keep zooming in. And I mean, that's also partly Kobo's fault because they haven't really optimized their e-readers to be able to be read as PDFs. But please, one of you has to cave, please. And I hope I prefer to be the publishers that cave. Thank you. The next one is, this goes to my point in the pros, is that in most countries ebooks are much cheaper. In Canada, that's not the case. Because for some reason, the ebooks are like $2 cheaper, $5 cheaper. There's no point. I might as well wait for the paperback. Because, listen, okay? Let's take the example of the Iliad, right? The recent translation by Emily Wilson of the Iliad, right? It comes out in hardcover. It does not come out in paperback yet. Anywhere. It has not come out anywhere, which is a little bit weird considering the UK a lot of the times has it simultaneously coming out in paperback and hardcover, but that's a whole other thing. So in Canada, the price for the hardcover Iliad translation is, I think, $45, and that does not, for my European friends, include tax. So let's say it comes to $50. Okay, that's not accurate, but it comes to $50. You guys know how much, like, the ebook is? The Kobo ebook is $40. Okay? Why would I pay $40 for an ebook or $45 for a hardcover when I can just wait and hope that the paperback is cheaper than both of those? Like, why would I pay for a $5 difference for an ebook? It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. And if I like the Iliad translation, I would want to get the paper copy, like the physical copy, because I want it to be on my shelf. But I can't because it's expensive. See where I'm going with this? It's very disheartening to be a reader in Canada because the prices are astronomical. This is why, my dear friends, I have only bought 7 books this year for myself. So, because I don't get paid enough to be able to afford books on the regular. Books are expensive. Okay, and there aren't a lot, unless you live in a major metropolitan area like Toronto or like Vancouver, for example, let's say. You can't get books for a cheap price. Like, I need to go down to Toronto and hope that the prices aren't astronomically high. So, yeah. Yeah, and the last point I'd make is why you should buy a Kobo over a Kindle. First off, if you buy a Kindle, you're supporting Amazon. So, and I don't think any of us really want to support Amazon. I feel like people should be more conscious of where they shop. I understand the prices, I totally get it. Sometimes Indigo doesn't have a book that I need, and I do get it from Amazon once in a while. But as I said, I've only bought 7 books, so it hasn't really happened that much. And also, Indigo is sketchy as hell now, so I tend to lessen my shopping at Indigo too. I try to as well, but sometimes I have no choice. So yes, if you're buying a Kindle, you're giving money to Amazon, and you're giving money to a company that might take over the bookstore world, might monopolize it, literally, okay? Because these people bought Goodreads and they ran it to the ground. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. I feel like we, as a book community, should be more conscious about where we shop. And as I said, if Amazon is your only option, I do not fault you, okay, for buying books from them. But but Kobo supports indie authors. Kobo also has a similar plan to Kobo Unlimited. It's like Kobo Plus, and it's like $9.99 a month. They have an audiobook service within Kobo as well. That's also an additional charge, but you don't have to like run around, it's also within the Kobo app. Their e-readers are fantastic. Their customer service is also really good. And it's more accessible for Canadians as well in terms of library. I think their e-readers are really cool. Hey Kobo, please sponsor me. Thank you. They were the first ones. Between Kobo and Kindle, they were the first ones to create the written one, the one where you can write, with the Kobo Ellipsa and the Kobo Sage. They have button e-readers. They also have waterproof and button e-readers and waterproof e-readers. They have refurbished e-reader options. One time, my friend and a colleague and I were checking it out because I was talking to him about Kobos and how I really love it. And I'm like, hey, if you read a lot, you should utilize this. And he went to the website and he checked refurbished, and there was like $99 for the Kobo Nia, which is literally the same size as my e-reader. Okay, it's the same size and it's refurbished and it's $99, and I'm pretty sure it was free shipping. So I feel like Kobo is the safer option. I understand the popularity of Kindle right now, but I think that people should do a little bit of research, and I think they should go for the Kobo instead of the Kindle. My main gripe is Kobo is known for their battery life as well. This video is getting too long. So yes, please do your research. Obviously, if you choose to buy a Kindle, I'm not going to yell at you, but just be mindful of where you're buying books from. And definitely check out Kobo. I will link stuff down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Happy reading. So as I said, they're sometimes difficult to get unless you live. Чё?
Ты чё?
Я видео делаю, чё?
Есть какое-нибудь одеялко Алиску накрыть?
Да. Well. Bloopers.